This is the I Love Success podcast. I'm Peter Jumrukovsky, and I have made a vow to myself to help as many people as possible to achieve their dreams. Let's get started. Hey guys, and welcome to this special episode of the I Love Success podcast. Today, for 30 minutes, we're going to share mindset and how to work on your mind. That's something that we all struggle with. And if you want to become a champion in your own life, the best version of yourself, you are going to need to win the battle against your mind. And today I have David Nurse, an MBA life optimization coach, future best-selling author, I love that, and worldwide motivational speaker. David has helped more than 150 NBA players with their personal and professional development, both on and off the court. He resides in Marina del Rey, California, and is married to the love of his life, the stunning actress Taylor Kalupa. Welcome, David Nurse. What's up, man?
Peter, thanks for having me. How's everything your way?
I'm good. I'm so happy that we finally could make this happen. We were set to record last week. My computer died 10 minutes before, and right now my audio didn't work, and I was blaming you. I was like, it's something wrong with your computer. And to be totally honest with you, I feel so stupid now, but I had the mute button on.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, man.
Hey, that happens. Trust me. Like I told you, I've done podcasts before on my own podcast where I thought I hit record on the whole thing in person and didn't record it. That's when you feel dumb, man. We can't deal with technology. Technology's not happening. We can't control it. It's like this virus. We can't control it. So no worries, man. I'm blessed and honored to be on this with you, and let's rock it.
Let's rock it. So let's just talk about like mindset. Something like this happens, you're prepared, you want to do good, and then something happens. How do you deal with that to be able to still perform, still deliver, and actually feel good about doing it?
Yeah, so everything starts with the mindset. I've been blessed to be able to work with over 150 NBA players on court and on their skill set. And what I've learned over the years is that it all starts in the mind. If you don't have a strong mindset, nothing else really matters, because there's going to be a lot of times in life where curveballs are thrown your way and things don't go your way, but how are you going to react? We're not a product of what happens to us. We're a product of how we react to those things that happen to us. So there's a few ways that you can feel like, okay, no matter what comes at me, I'm going to be able to, and I'm big on pivots, as my in August called Pivot and Go. It's all about looking at things from a slightly different perspective that can change your entire perspective. So let's say something difficult comes your way, a hardship comes your way, and it's really, really tough to get through. But it's not, once you take that and you pivot it from dreading that, from fearing that, from feeling that pain, to realizing you're going through that for a reason, for somebody else down the road. Because if you go through something that's like, let's say I've got a friend who went through brain cancer, but now he can speak. Now he speaks to people going through brain cancer, keeps them in a positive frame of mind and how they can get through it as well. So using these difficult times in your life and viewing them as, hey, it's going to happen, bring them on. But I'm going to pivot these times for something so much further, so much greater than if I hadn't had these times happen to me.
And obviously you work with high performance and you are yourself at a high level. So where do you start? People that are listening right now and they say, yeah, this sounds all great, but when shit hits the fan, I'm just saying fuck and I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have your purpose. You gotta know why you're doing something. And I mean, people can feel stuck in different situations, and it's really hard to change, to get out of that stuck situation. But I bring it all back to just that the perspective is looking at things from a slightly different perspective. Like, do you look at things from a I get to perspective or I have to perspective? And that can change the ball game up right there. And we are the products, Peter, we're the products of what we tell ourselves. Because who's the person that we speak to most throughout the day? Ourselves, by far. So the question is, what are you filling yourself with? people that feel like they can't go on, or that's something that's too hard for them to go on. It's what are they filling their minds with? Are they filling it with negative self-talk, like they can't, I won't, they can't do it? Or are you affirming yourself in a positive way and saying like, this is who I can be. I know I'm this person. Like I believe we all have a God-given gift within us to shine out for the world, for people to make others better. But the thing that holds us back is ourself and our self-doubt. Self-doubt is the most crippling thing that you could possibly have to your mindset and to your overall future.
And David, what has been the biggest self-doubt in your life, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah, great question. So my self-doubt was actually is really my pivot. Is I poured everything I could into playing in the NBA, like everything growing up in high school and college. I didn't really have a fallback plan or even think about what was coming after college. I was going to play in the NBA, but 6'2", unable to dunk a basketball. It probably wasn't the best. Seas in Australia and Greece and Spain, and man, it sounds cool and all, but I was playing in the second division league in Spain, which is more like Will Ferrell semi-pro, where they'd rather drink beers at halftime than actually play basketball. And here I am putting in all this extra work, all this hard work, and thinking that I'm going to play in the NBA, and I get cut from this team. So not only is everything that I poured into my life taken away from me and I have nothing, it's literally rubbing my face in the dirt along with it. So it took me a while, but then I realized like all this time that I put in, all these details, all this hard work that I put into making myself the best player I could be. I was pouring into myself, not to be an NBA player, but to coach. All this details so I could coach and help others become the best versions of themselves that they could be. So for me, my self-doubt was, I felt so bad for myself. Like all this work that I put into it, I thought the world was ending. I thought I could never do anything. But then I realized, hey, this wasn't wasted. This was for something even greater than I could have even planned or imagined. And every step along the way, I had been preparing for this opportunity to come. I didn't know it. And just like all of us, we don't know what we're preparing for, but we're preparing for an opportunity to come. And it probably won't come in the way we expect it to come, but it will come, and it'll come in a way probably better than we even could have ever imagined.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I know as an athlete, it's hard sometimes because you put all your energy into something, and then most athletes at some point, no matter how good you are, you realize that, okay, I need to move on with my life. Uh, and that is something I think everybody as human beings also need to go through as we're finding ourselves and our gifts. What else do you want to say to people right now that are in that transition? They're doing something that put their mind and soul and heart, and they feel like, okay, maybe this is not the thing for me, but I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, I mean, you just continue to, figure out what your thing is. What are you passionate about? Like what wakes you up in the morning? You're absolutely juiced to get out of bed, pop out of bed and go attack it for the day. So you got to figure out what you're passionate about and what makes you tick, and then figure out what kind of purpose it's going to have, because it has to be a bigger purpose than yourself. If it's only for you and your own personal gain, that will run out quickly. So figuring out your passion and what your purpose of that passion is the key. And it's not going to happen overnight. Like as long as you are going down a path, as long as you are putting in work, trying to improve yourself, and I call it on my podcast, the 1% podcast, taking 1% steps daily forward so you can pour into yourself 1%, so you can pour into others eventually along the way. And taking those 1% steps is what leads us to what our ultimate goal is. And the understanding of it's not going to happen overnight. A lot of people, that's my biggest thing, is I want things to happen now, right away. But understanding that it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. Like I didn't get to the point where I'm at in my life by just a couple years or 3 years. It's taken 10, 12 years to get here of just absolute grinding. Now grinding that I loved doing because I knew what my passion was, and I had a purpose in doing it. So it's not, I didn't actually look at it as like, this is drudgery or difficult work. But just knowing that what you're putting in right now, even if you're in a job that you hate going to, that you have a bigger picture, that it's not just today, but you can look at, okay, I can be 10 years to become an overnight success, and looking at different types of stories of people that have made it that never gave up. Like there's one true thing, like you won't make it if you give up, but if you keep going, you're going to eventually find your way. But that's the mindset you have to have, because if you don't, like I said, you don't have a chance.
Yeah. So do you believe in the universe?
Do I believe in the universe? Yeah, there's planets and stars, and yep, believe in the universe.
And do you believe in the universe as if you put the right things out there, it will come back to you?
I don't believe in it that way. I have a strong faith in God, and I think God's in control of us all. He's got a plan for all of us, a specific plan for all of us. I mean, I think if you do good things for others, if you pour into others and help others, it's going to come back to you because they're going to want to help you. But I don't believe in any energies of the universe working in harmony to make good things happen to good things. I believe there's a God that's got a plan for us all and a purpose for us all.
Okay. And what has been the biggest working with all these NBA players? What have you seen? What's their biggest struggle on the court, but also off the court? And how have you been able to help them with that?
Well, the biggest struggle on the court, I mean, it's a lot of very specific to whatever their position is or whatever their flaws to being the best player they can be. But I guess if you had to put it into one nutshell, it'd probably be confidence and how to have this unshakable confidence every time they step on the floor. And that's developed. I have a 7 steps to confidence, and I'll just go through them quickly on how to develop this unshakable confidence. And the first one that I teach these guys is confidence through comparison. So comparison sounds like a horrible thing, but if you're comparing yourself to the people you want to be like the Michael Jordans, the Kobe Bryants, studying them, then you gain that confidence through that, what they did, you know that you can do. And confidence and focusing on our strengths. So we talked about, you mentioned their flaws, but focusing on your strengths. Because in the NBA, if you're good in every area, you're not playing in the NBA. But if you're great in one area, you can have a long, long career. So focusing on your strengths and not necessarily your weaknesses. On point 3 is confidence and through redefining vocabulary. There's certain words that we grow up hearing and we just have negative connotations with them. For example, one of them in the NBA, a player will come to me, say they're in a shooting slump, which means they just can't make a shot. Like that word slump is just a word. It doesn't really have any weight to it in the meeting. And I'll say, yeah, okay, what if you were in a shooting hippopotamus? Then what? And they look at me crazy, and I try to make it really, really off the wall. So they look at it like that, but it's just a word. So we redefine vocabulary, take away failure, take away slump, take away missed shot, take away pressure. Those words don't even exist. There's no more negative thoughts spoken out anymore. Negative thoughts spoken into the world are 7 times more powerful than saying nothing at all. So take out negative thoughts, redefine the vocabulary. That's point 3. Point 4 is confidence through creating your highlight reel. So we all have this time in our lives where we're just in the zone, we're killing it, whether it's a business meeting, a phone call, or for my NBA players, their best game. And we'll recreate that. We'll watch that film, we'll think about that, we'll visualize that, and that's who you become by continually doing that day after day and building those habits and routines of having your highlight reel and your in the zone moment. Point 5 is confidence through pouring into others. And this is just taking the pressure off yourself. It's how can I serve my teammates? How can I serve the people in my office? How can I serve others? And you're pouring into these other people, takes a ton of pressure off yourself, gives you that confidence, gives you the leadership ability. And point 6 is confidence through what I call, it's a tool that I use called choose your second. So my NBA players use a number between 1 and 24, which is the numbers on the shot clock in the game so they can see it at all times. So they choose a number. So let's say my number is 16. Whenever 16 comes up, that's my cue. It's a mental cue that's going to kick me back into this is who I am, my overall confidence through comparison, strength, and puts everything together. My highlight reel, this is the best version of myself I can be. And when that number hits, it's a mental cue. And mental cues are so powerful that puts me into this frame of mind. And then wrapping it all up is confidence through relentless consistency. Relentless consistency is doing it day after day after day after day, showing up the same way every day, but doing all these confidence tools together every day. And this develops unshakable confidence. These steps alone are proven in business, in entrepreneurs, in athletes, and we all can use these in our lives. And then the great thing about it is, Peter, is you do these 7 steps of confidence and you gain confidence through putting in the work, which is like a double whammy there. So that's the biggest struggle that NBA players have, if I could put it into a nutshell. And I know it's a kind of a brief version, but we go super in depth on their habits, do a mirror window type of different types of ways to see themselves. So there's so much that goes into depth on it, but on the surface, confidence, unshakable confidence in knowing who they are.
I love that. And I think that's, I asked on and off the court, but I think it's the same thing for all of us as human beings. Having true confidence is everything, right? And you talked about negative words. We're talking, like a lot of us were saying so many shitty things to ourselves, which is so sad, right? And I see, like, I've seen so much potential. I'm a karate athlete and I've seen so much potential in young kids, and they're ruining it from themselves by not having confidence. And I think that's incredible. And also gaining what you said, gaining the small wins from doing the work. So you don't have to be an NBA player to start working on your confidence, right? David? Hello?
Oh, Peter, you froze.
Can you hear me? Yeah, I think
there you go.
there
Gotcha.
had some type of internet connection problems. So yeah, I was saying, you don't have to. Do you have to be an NBA player to start working on your confidence, or what can the regular person with that vision and dream, but they're still in their bedroom right now, what can they do to get started?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, definitely confidence is one of the main things for all of us to have. We talked about this personal self-talk, and just really confidence doesn't come down to your accomplishments. It doesn't come down to your resume or anything like that. That's the world's definition of confidence. But true confidence is about knowing your self-awareness, knowing who you are and being comfortable with who you are. And to find your confidence, there's different ways to go about this, or those same steps that we talked about that anybody can do. But I also like to give people a tool that's very easy to use, that they can use every. I think the most important thing is the mornings when you put these affirmations and speak positivity in your life. And I call it the hands routine. And this is where you look at your hands. First thing you do when you wake up in the morning, people that are listening, you can do this wherever you're at, unless you're driving. Look at your hands and look at everything that they've been through. Look at all the hard work, the toil, everything that they have done. And then you think of the most confident person in your life. Maybe it's a parent, a coach, a teacher, and you see their hands as your hands as their hands, all they've gone through, all you've gone through. And no matter what comes at you during that day, no matter how hard it might be, you've been through it all. You have these confident hands with you at all times. So for everybody, the importance of building self-confidence, it just makes you more adapt to being able to achieve your goals because you believe in yourself. Like I said earlier, the biggest thing that holds us back is our self-doubt is extremely crippling. So if we can put ourselves into this confident mindset and know that our true self-awareness, and not live in the, what do other people think of me? What if I can't keep this level of performance up? What will so-and-so say about me? And not worry about that, push that away, then we will live in true self-awareness, confidence.
Love that. That's a great exercise. I'm trying to redefine success, David. And so I have a question for you. If we talk about success and happiness, are those the same thing, or are there any difference between happiness and success? What's your definition?
Well, my definition of success is living with joy. I think happiness is fleeting. Joy is something that is constant, that is always there. Happiness rises and falls with your situations. And success, rise. If you tie success to happiness, that rises and falls because you're going to be successful in the world's eyes. But what is success to you is, are you having an impact? Are you making a purpose? Are you serving others? That is what leaving a true legacy, in my opinion, is about, is not about the success or what's going to be written about you in history books from times to come, but it's how many people did you serve? How many people did you put ahead of yourself? Not necessarily you climbing the corporate ladder or whatever it might be, but if you serve one person, they could serve another and another and another. And you actually helped 1 million people by serving that one person. But you never do that if you don't have that mindset. If you're chasing happiness and you're chasing success, it's going to be a long, tough, hard battle that you'll never get there. But if you live in the joy and you live in the contentment with what you have, and I think this quarantine time is a great time that we can really reflect on this, of what we have, the gifts we've been given, all the blessings that we have that we might have taken for granted earlier. Is living in this contentment and living in this joy is what's going to actually bring what you think is success.
No, it's interesting. Like these times, you get to realize how important relationships are, how important family are, and like how a lot of us neglect the most important things in our lives. Uh, how are you, this quarantine? How has that affected you and your mindset? Like, have you had any revelations, some new things that you want to do when this is all over, and how you gonna show up in the world?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to change. I think eventually everything will get back to primarily normal. But I want to take the good things away from that I have, taking walks daily with my wife, spending more time together with my wife, praying more, just having these routines that I'm absolutely loving during this time. But then when travel comes back and everything and all the craziness does come back eventually, and it'll come back. Everybody thinks it'll be completely different, but it'll eventually come back. People need human interaction, so it'll happen. And taking all these good things from this time, just being thankful for these things that we take for granted, and then and putting it into the new life that we have, or the and transforming them to when we can get back out there in live interaction.
And let's talk a little bit about your book. I know you need to leave in a couple of minutes. So Pivot and Go, let's just talk about that and why you wrote that book.
Yeah, so Pivot and Go is about, like I talked about earlier, making small, what I call mindset pivots, just small turns that will perspective shifts that can change your entire perspective on life. Because change is very difficult. It's very daunting, but we don't have to make big changes. It's just little small shifts, the way we look at things. Like I mentioned, the get to versus have to mentality, or I've got Pivot and Go is based on a 29-day mindset blueprint to define and achieve your success, not the world's success, your success. So 29 days, why I chose that is it takes 28 days to make a habit. And habits are great. There's great books on habits, love them. But to make it lasting, you got to make it a lifestyle. And on day 29, after you've created a habit, then you decide if you make it a lifestyle. Like a habit for eating 28 days of healthy food and then you give up on it, you just go back to normal. You want to make this a lifestyle. And I take you through each chapter as a different mindset pivot, and it shows you how easy you can just make a small turn of the dial in different situations in your life that can change your entire life.
That's exciting. And last question that I have to you, David, is we're all about having people take action and get a little bit closer to their dream, because my mission is to help at least 10 million people to go after theirs. So what is the one thing you would say that they should do right now in order to get a little bit closer to their dreams?
To their dreams, keep pouring into others, keep serving into others, serving people. You never know who that person is that you serve, and you just put all your, just your time in the present, in the moment, into who they are, how they can help you, but just building genuine relationships and serving. Because for me, just a real quick story is, like, I was giving a guy a basketball lesson before an NBA game that I was coaching in, and I didn't know it was Mark Cuban. and now Mark Cuban's a friend of mine. Like that because I was in the service mentality. So just not worrying about yourself, but giving up and serving others is the best way that you can fully get to where your success level is going to be, because you can't do anything alone. One is way too small of a number to ever achieve greatness.
I love that. Serve more. If people want to connect with you and learn more about you, where can they find you?
Yeah, so I have a podcast, the 1% podcast, my website, davidnurse.com, where I have courses on how to find your passion and make it your career, how to build your genuine relationships, your golden 15. Instagram, David Nurse MBA, Twitter, David Nurse MBA. Book is on Amazon pre-sale, Pivot and Go. And other than coming out and hanging out with me in LA, I think that's pretty much it.
Love it. Thank you so much, David, for taking the time. Sorry about all the trouble on my end. I'm a martial artist, so I take it very personal when I mess up. So my apologies. We appreciate you. We appreciate
Thank you for all you do. And Peter, thank you for the light that you are to so many people and inspiring 10 million people and helping them along their passion. It's awesome, man. I love it.
Thank you. And thank you, everybody who watched and listened to this podcast. What we need from you is to share this, give us some love, share this with someone that needs to hear this message, that also needs more confidence in their life, that needs to work on their mindset. It's crucial. It will make the world a better place. And that's what we do. We're here to serve. Check me out at ilovesuccess.co. We have more than 180 of these amazing conversations with thought leaders and game changers, just like David here. And yeah, connect with us. We're here to serve. Thank you so much, and see you guys soon.